listen to this letter written to me for my wife, Mary, from a friend of mine, Leah Weeb. This is what I want to send her. Is this okay? Hi, Mary. Just want you to know that I love you very much. You are such a beautiful person inside and out. You have always made me feel good about myself. Many things about you remind me of my mother. I want you to know that I am praying for you, though I'm sure you know that. I remember when my mom was sick and how much I prayed for her. And when she died, I felt like God forgot about me and my needs. I still don't know why she had to die, and I miss her very much. But God knows, and I have accepted that. Remember, God does love you. We are sometimes impatient, and He works in His time, not ours, which sucks for us. Laugh out loud. Please remember, from the bottom of my heart, I am here for you anytime during the day or night. Encouragement. Paul writes, or at least in the book of Hebrews, we have, encourage each other daily while it is still called today. In other words, while you still have opportunity to do so, so that none of you is hindered by sin's deception. When someone is discouraged and deeply distressed, there can be all kinds of distractions of blaming God, of being negative. And in this case, the reason Leah wrote this letter was that Mary was telling me she really believed that God had abandoned her, because she had suffered for nearly 5 years already deep anxiety, stress, weak, many times falling and hurting herself, day after day after day. And so I mentioned this to Leah, and she sent this letter back. What an encouraging letter. Exactly what Mary needed in her lowest time during that time of suffering. Now, I was in the middle of this because I happened to be her husband. How would I, as a husband, alone, apart from people like Leah, encourage my wife, which is exactly what I wanted to do? It was my complete desire to encourage her every day. And one of the things about encouraging one another is, as we find in David, in one of David's situations in the Old Testament, in 1 Samuel, where he is attacked by those that he is attempting to lead, because he made a strategically bad decision in one of the situations of warfare that he was involved with. And he came home, and what was wrong was the enemy had attacked their home and created a lot of damage. And the people turned against him, even to the point of hostility. And what he did is very interesting. He encouraged himself. He went aside alone and encouraged himself in the Lord. And how many times did I not have to go aside and encourage myself in the Lord in order to encourage Mary? But along with that, many people, friends, the church, and people specifically like Leah to write letters like this of encouragement. Now, I preached this sermon in Mozambique, Africa, a number of years ago. And after the service, and after I finished the sermon, and by the way, part of the sermon was also that many times people can blame each other for their situation. In other words, someone could have said, well, if maybe she would do this and this and this, she wouldn't be depressed. Or maybe if I would do this and this and this, maybe your wife wouldn't be suffering. And that was part of this sermon as well. And my point was, you know what? Put that aside and simply encourage, come alongside, and be the strength for that person when there is no strength. So after the sermon in Mozambique, Africa, one of the churches where they allowed me to preach this sermon. And after the sermon, all at once, the front of the room is filled with people. And I'm not sure what's going on. Well, they were kneeling, so they must have been praying. So I asked the pastor later, because I couldn't speak the language. They were speaking Portuguese, and I was speaking English, and there was a translator and all that kind of stuff. But later I asked him, what was going on there? Well, he said, the people that came forward, they have had family members or friends that have died from AIDS, and around 1 in 5 people in Mozambique area have AIDS. And many die. There's many orphans. And we were part of that ministry as well. And he said they came forward to confess that instead of encouraging those around them that had AIDS, family, friends, others, instead of blaming as they had for their situation, and there's, I guess they could say, blame to go around, but instead of blaming, they would rather walk alongside by the grace of God and by the love of God, encourage and give strength. Walk alongside. Someone has suggested that it's adding courage to in someone's suffering. Just a note from the Bible and the experience of life, the encouragement that we can give and that we receive. God bless you.